I thought I could trust my partner of 4 years until I discovered he'd been flirting with another girl during our rough patch. I thought I lost you, he claims, yet I feel utterly shattered and questioning if I even know what love is anymore. Can this relationship be saved? I, a 24-year-old female, am no longer certain about my partner who is a 22-year-old male. Help. Summary. How can this relationship be repaired? I do not trust my partner any longer because I feel that he cheated on me, but he insists he did not. However, he reached out to a girl to talk while ignoring me and then flirted with her when we officially broke up. All of this occurred without my knowledge until we reconciled, after which he informed me following my apology for my role in our argument. I dislike appearing as if I believe I am always right, so I often return to apologize for my part even when I do not hope for reconciliation. Detailed account. After dating for 4 years, we were quite certain about each other until one major fight led to a break and then a breakup. Following that, we got back together. I experienced significant anxiety and depression. It goes without saying that I feel incredibly insecure, yet he has given me considerable confidence throughout the years we have been together. I have improved significantly at managing my toxic behaviors stemming from past and ongoing trauma caused by my family and previous relationships. I believe I have made many improvements in my character and have been acknowledged by my partner. I would say we had a solid relationship. Recently, however, we entered a very rough phase. I was particularly depressed, irritable, and unable to show enthusiasm for things which made him feel unloved. He brought it up and I was candid with him about my feelings, explaining my emotional, physical, and mental state. He understood, but he expressed that he did not feel comforted. Feeling extremely inadequate, I asked him if there was anything I could do to help him feel better because I recognized that my explanations do not necessarily imply comfort for him. In some respects, it may even come across as me defending myself, which I clarified was not my intention. He simply responded with "I don't know," which, while frustrating for both parties, is understandable. For the next few days, things remained relatively normal as we spent time together daily. However, he began to become distant, refraining from engaging in conversation or initiating activities together. He relied on me to prompt him, which frustrated me because I felt I had expressed myself clearly, yet he was not meeting me halfway in addressing the situation. He continued to withdraw, making it even more challenging for me to work things out while we were both feeling unwell. All I needed was a frank and open conversation about our feelings and suggestions that might assist us both, simply communication. I made attempts to start conversations with him, both lighthearted topics and also sharing my emotions, trying to encourage him to express his. I was making an effort. I apologized repeatedly for being low energy and seemingly distant, even though I had explained numerous times why I felt that way. During these times, I hardly converse with anyone because I genuinely lack the energy and do not want to bring others down. During this period, unbeknownst to me, he was reaching out to a random girl he met on a mobile game, discussing his interests and messaging her back and forth. He was cold and indifferent towards me while being polite to her. Normally, I would feel slightly bothered due to my insecurities, but I understand that this is an issue I need to address. However, his treatment of me, combined with the politeness and effort he extended toward a complete stranger, left me feeling hurt. He was laughing and forming a bond with her, while claiming he had absolutely no energy to do anything with or even talk to me. I discovered this only when he revealed it after we reconciled, following a point when I snapped due to his persistent lack of engagement and suggested a break. We had previously discussed that a break is not equivalent to a breakup, and it would not last more than a week because a break should not be seen as a solution, but rather a time to cool off. We had mutually agreed that flirting with anyone during a break constitutes cheating since the relationship was not over. 3 days into the break, I ended things with him because he continued to avoid cordial communication and instigated fights, speaking to me aggressively, cursing, and yelling despite my consistent protests regarding this behavior due to past physical and verbal abuse from former partners. However, he defended his actions, claiming he did not care and referred to me with derogatory terms. I was utterly devastated. To me, he had unequivocally cheated because he reached out to someone to talk despite the friendly nature of the conversation while stonewalling me before and during the break. After the breakup, he took it a step further by actually flirting with her. This led me to feel he was already planning to emotionally invest in another person before what he considered an inevitable breakup. His defense was that he thought he had already lost me. Thus, he engaged in self-destructive behavior to hurt himself and someone else. He claims he never intended to hurt me because he believed we would not reconcile. He asserts that his interactions with her meant nothing to him, even while calling her pretty, engaging in voice calls with her, and complimenting her kind and compassionate soul, among other things. These were compliments I had not received from him in years without prompting him myself, all within 3 days of knowing this girl. The confidence I had built over the years, stemming from what I believed were sincere compliments he offered, came crashing down. I absolutely do not trust him anymore. He admits he made mistakes, but it has been weeks since I allowed him back into my life. I fear taking any sudden actions that I may regret, as I need ample time to process this situation. The issue is that he seemed incredibly sincere about wanting me back, yet my trust is shattered. I find myself allowing my emotions to dictate my actions, but logically I cannot bring myself to trust him. I am uncertain if a therapist could assist, but he does not appear willing to seek help. I recognize therapy can be expensive and we are not financially comfortable, but I feel lost. Additionally, I have realized that over the years, I have become adept at asking the right questions to uncover behaviors he knows I dislike due to my insecurities or issues where we disagree based on our differing opinions. He does not want to lie, so he is honest when I pose the right questions, yet he becomes defensive and makes me feel guilty for even inquiring. Following this situation, I know I am not comfortable with him keeping that mobile game or maintaining contact with her or anything associated with her. Nevertheless, he occasionally logs on to help other players because of his elevated status in the game. I was not allowed to see their private messages because he believes it would not benefit me. I understand it may hurt me to know, yet I detest not knowing everything they discussed. I find it increasingly difficult to communicate simple sentiments with him, and I know he dislikes it. Expressing things like good morning, be safe when either of us goes out, or good night, along with compliments and inside jokes, has become challenging. Every time I attempt to do so, I either begin to cry or disengage because it hurts me so deeply. I also cannot accept such expressions because receiving them is just as painful. He expresses that he desires things to return to normal, claiming that he believes the affectionate, playful version of me still exists. However, considering what I know and how I feel, how can I possibly return to that? I understand that I still care for him. As for love, I am uncertain. I do not know if the pain is overshadowing any love I might still have for him or if there is any love left at all. To be honest, I am not clear on what love is supposed to feel like anymore. I once thought I understood love, but if he is capable of acting in such a way, what do I really know about it? Does he actually love me? It does not feel like it. Is this confusion clouding my feelings? Possibly. I cannot trust him, nor can I express affection verbally any longer. Frankly, I do not even know if I can do so physically. Perhaps I can show my care through acts of service, but that is not how I typically express love. He believes everything is somewhat okay right now because I still find humor in some things. I continue to spend time with him, and I behave as if I am normal, albeit with reduced affection. He acknowledges that it is not truly fine, but he thinks it is being managed reasonably well. In reality, it is not. I am breaking down more with each passing day. Does anyone have any advice on how to mend this relationship? Perhaps someone who has experienced something similar, someone who has managed to work through a partner's infidelity. I am desperate because I do not want to pursue someone new. I am too tired for that, yet it is incredibly challenging to find someone with whom I connect and share similar mindsets and opinions on many random and controversial topics. I have very strong opinions. Story 2. After 2 years of love, my boyfriend confessed, "I'm not in love with you anymore." I felt my heart shatter. As I cried over discarded memories, I wondered, what did I do wrong? Now, we live as friends under the same roof, hoping to find our way back. Is there hope for us? This is a difficult situation. I am a 36-year-old female who has been in a relationship with my boyfriend, a 36-year-old male, for 2 years now. Everything from the beginning has felt magical and incredible. We dated, frequently visited Las Vegas, where he is originally from, while I hail from a small town in Arizona. We shared wonderful adventures and created amazing memories together, experiences that neither of us had truly encountered before. I couldn't have been happier, especially after getting out of a very toxic and abusive relationship 6 months before meeting him. I had regained my independence with my own home, job, car, and a sense of normalcy. He also faced some difficult times, but that did not deter him from wanting to be with me. Our relationship embodied everything I had been dreaming of. We consistently complimented each other, and strangers often remarked on how good and cute we appeared together. We expressed how it felt like we had finally found each other, feeling destined to be together and radiating happiness. We grew incredibly close, and I knew he was the one for me. My friends adore him, and my mother and brother genuinely liked him as well upon meeting him. We moved in together last April, and I was waiting to start my new job within the next few weeks. He was very happy and excited that I had moved in with him, eagerly showing me around the place and what he had acquired for us. I was equally thrilled to be there, especially after a year of dating. We had maintained a long-distance relationship, living about an hour and a half apart, but we made it work. He would often come to visit me, and I insisted on driving to see him, but he had a challenging living arrangement and wanted to shield me from his mother, who had not treated him well. I never judge anyone for their living conditions, especially when they are making an effort to improve their situation. I empathized with him, having experienced a difficult living situation with my ex. In October, we traveled to Vancouver, Washington to visit his family, and I was pleasantly surprised and delighted by how warmly they welcomed me, even expressing how much they already liked me. As time went on, we shared a wonderful Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas together. However, the job I started in May last year had me working the graveyard shift. Over time, I became ill, stressed, frustrated, and overall overwhelmed. I tried my best to adjust to it, but it became increasingly difficult to maintain a life outside of work. He did what he could to spend time with me, cooking while I took care of cleaning. We both tried our best to make it work. But in recent months, I felt a growing distance between us. The past few weeks have become progressively harder as I began noticing changes in his demeanor. He became less affectionate, less communicative, less adventurous, and he began spending less time with me for no apparent reason. He had to file for bankruptcy due to credit lines he was unable to pay off, and his ex was exceedingly financially dependent on him, causing significant complications. I never blamed him for his situation and understood where he was coming from. However, the escalating stress from both of our circumstances continued to accumulate. I was struggling with the graveyard shift, losing sleep, and his behavior left me feeling increasingly insecure. I repeatedly asked him if he still loved me, wanted to be with me, and if everything was all right between us. He consistently answered yes, but his actions suggested otherwise. One day after work, I was in the room where we had our gaming computers since we sometimes played together or with friends. He came home from work, sat down, and powered on his system. I sensed his indifference, and the tension in the air felt like an insurmountable barrier between us. I asked him genuinely what was going on with him. He was silent for a moment before finally revealing that he was no longer in love with me. He still loves and cares for me, but not in the same way. I had already anticipated this answer from the silence he exhibited while contemplating his response, yet it still felt like my heart shattered. He admitted that he had been lying to himself and to me, unsure if that was truly how he felt, and had hoped to ignore it in hopes that it would fade away. It did not, it only escalated until I compelled him to discuss it. I felt upset and deeply betrayed. I inquired if there was someone else, to which he immediately responded no. I was still so devastated that all I could do was cry. I ended up discarding some of our pictures due to the pain I was experiencing, questioning how he could lie to me like that, and wondered if the last 2 years had meant anything to him. He assured me that they did and that he would never diminish the value of the time we spent together. I reached out to some friends to confide in them, spending the night alone filled with anger and grief. I felt as though I lost both my best friend and the love of my life. I am unsure if I played any role in influencing his feelings or if he has unresolved trauma. It is challenging for him to express his feelings fully, as he tends to shut down. His past partners were also unfair to him, taking him for granted. I genuinely felt as though I had been asking too much of him, putting him under too much pressure. Though he never communicated this to me, perhaps he was trying to protect my feelings. I wish he had been more upfront with me and hadn't left me guessing or in the dark. However, I understood his perspective as, in my past abusive relationship, I was often told to silence my voice. Interestingly, over the last few days, we had more conversations, and I managed to get him to open up. I felt that we made some progress. He indicated that my actions or words were not to blame, but that his uncertainty was primarily his own. He expressed feelings of not knowing whether to remain alone to avoid harming anyone or if he genuinely wanted to start anew. I reassured him of my enduring love and support. We continue to spend time together watching Star Wars, his favorite, and I encouraged him to discuss the lore with me more often. He is working on settling his debts while still holding on to his job and saving money. We have ultimately resorted to sleeping in separate rooms, but I still ensure he stays warm and comfortable. I cannot be cruel or vindictive toward him because he has never abused me. Yes, he lied, but he has expressed sincere remorse. I cannot harbor hate or anger toward him for his feelings either, nor do I wish to. I only wish I could make things easier for him. However, this is his journey to navigate. A few of my friends have offered me a place to stay just in case. I am saving as much as I can, paying off my share of our expenses and assisting him with our living situation. Simultaneously, I am hoping for the best. I want to remain with him while allowing him the space and time he needs, no matter how long that may take. I do not want to be selfish and exacerbate his stressors any further. I continue to clean, he cooks, and we share meals together. We spend time together, but it is not the same as before. We both agreed to start over as friends and act purely as friends, meaning no cuddling or kissing. This significant change is challenging for me to adjust to, yet I equally dislike being without him in a romantic capacity. Transitioning from lovers to friends seems difficult but possible. I do not want to move out, quit my job, or start over, let alone seek out someone new. I genuinely do not desire anyone else and hope he understands how much he means to me. I wish to know if there is hope for us. If not, how can I manage moving on, or should I even attempt to? I seek some sincere advice on this matter. I cannot afford to lose this one. Summary. My boyfriend of 2 years informed me that he is no longer in love with me and cannot clearly identify why. I want to make it work and hope he comes around, but I feel lost, alone, confused, and conflicted. What more can I do to ensure the best outcome?